If you've ever lived in a big city, you've probably felt it too. The feeling of being invisible, lost in the crowd, as if no one really sees you. And in the 80s in London, that's exactly how many young people from working class neighborhood felt. In a city that was huge, wealthy, but also profoundly unequal, where their stories, their faces, and their cultures were rarely represented in the public space. So these young people found a radical way to take their place they were never given. Street art, a way of carving into the city walls, I exist too. In this third episode of Wisdom of the World, let me tell you how these young people made invisible by the imperial capital turned abandoned walls into one of the most iconic artistic movements in the world. But first, if you haven't met yet, I'm Anaïs and I help you travel deeper and discover the wisdom of cultures around the world. So it all begins in the early 80s. London is going through a big crisis. Economically, the country is in recession. Between 1979 and 1982, unemployment doubles. More than 3 million people are out of work. A record not seen since the interwar period, and working-class neighborhoods are hit hardest. Factories shut down, the docks stop operating, industrial wastelands spread across the East End. Young people have almost no professional prospects. At the same time, racial tensions explode. The National Front, a far-right party, marches through the streets. They target Caribbean, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, African, and Irish communities. Racist attacks occur in places like New Cross and Brick Lane. Walls are covered in slurs and hateful symbols. The police also play a role in this tension. Stop and search operations are frequent, especially against young black men.
So what are you doing around here?
I'm not doing anything.
Well, you must be doing something.
Residents have been denouncing it for years.
Because if they had approached these boys differently, they approached them like wild wolves.
Then, everything erupts in April 1981 with the Brixton Riots. For several days, hundreds of young people confront the police. They denounce racism, poverty, and repeated violence. The city realizes something has changed. During this period, the streets speak. They are covered in political traces, torn posters, anti-government slogans, punk tags, messages of anger. Also, at that moment, something new arises. The influence of American hip-hop crosses the Atlantic. Young Londoners discover New York graffiti, lettering, places, signatures on trains. For them, it's a revelation. They realize that the walls can become their space of expression, a place where their names, their codes, and their styles can finally take shape.
Check it out now.
In the East End, many of these young people have access to no space for expression. No galleries, no art schools, no official places to show what they create. So they want to express themselves another way with what they have, where they are. They go out at night to create something of their own. They find a forgotten wall, they pull out a marker or a spray can, and they write their name. At that moment, they're called taggers, writers, or simply vandals. But what they really want is to bring their style into this great city, to create an energy, a culture, and a visual presence that looks like them. And that desire is what gives birth to London street art. But very quickly, they hit a wall much harder than brick. Everything is against them. First, the law. In London, tagging is strictly illegal. A simple blaze can lead to arrest, heavy fines, or confiscation of their materials. Then there is time. To paint a wall, they sometimes have only a few seconds. One slow movement and the police show up. There are also the invisible rules of the streets. Crews fight over certain walls. Some sports are reserved, and you have to know the codes to avoid trouble. Their origins also played a role in this conflict. Many are children of Caribbean, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, African, or Irish immigration. Communities are often monitored, underestimated, or ignored. Their presence in the street at night is already suspicious. Tagging only hidens the risk. The press doesn't help them either. They talk about this youth as a problem, as a sign of urban decay, never as artists. And even when attacks succeed, it's never guaranteed. Walls are repainted, faces are cleaned, works disappear in days, sometimes hours. Every outing is a risk, every tag is a challenge, every wall is a battle. And yet, they keep going. And then something changed. First in the way they paint, then in the way the city reacts. Tags evolve, letters become more complex, styles mix, some add colors, outlines, characters. What used to be a simple tag begins to turn into a true work of art. London also attracts new artists. Spanish, Italian, South American, and Eastern European creators bring new techniques, new ideas, and new influences. The local scene becomes international, the East End filled with works that change every week. Then one name appears: Banksy, an anonymous artist from Bristol, active since the early 90s. He uses stencils to work fast and leave instantly readable images. Policemen, rats, children, always with a social or political message. His anonymity intrigues, his style stands out. And for the first time, an artist from the streets captured the attention of the wider public. Another turning point arrived in 2008. The Lick Street tunnel beneath the tracks at Waterloo. Banksy organized the Cannes Festival there, an event that brings together artists from around the world and turns the tunnel into a giant gallery. From that moment on, Lick Street becomes one of the rare places in London where street art is officially tolerated. And that's a real shift in the city's relationship with graffiti. Gradually, the walls of Shoreditch, Brick Lane, and Camden stop being seen as signs of decay. Residents begin photographing them, tourists come to see them, galleries that once ignored them start paying attention. And then something essential happens. The young people once called vandals start being recognized as artists. Everything that was once illegitimate takes on a new dimension. Street art is no longer a trace to erase, it is a culture, a scene, a visual identity of London. Today, London is one of the world capitals of street art. Shoreditch, Brick Lane, Camden, Hackney, and Brixton, they've all become living galleries where works appear, disappear, and overlap. The city changes every week. Some artists now make a living from what they create. Others choose to stay anonymous and keep painting at night. Both paths coexist, and together, they shape London's identity. But beyond the walls, something much deeper has happened. Street art has changed the way the city sees its young people, but also the way these young people see themselves. Even when the world tried to ignore them, dismiss them, or silence them, with nothing but a spray can, a wall, and the desire to exist, these young people answered in the most powerful and beautiful way that exists: art. They teach us not to wait for permission to take our place in the world. They show us that what some call a mindless tag today can become a recognized piece of art tomorrow. They prove that despite less contempt, they could claim their places, assert their voices, and make themselves seen. They imposed their place so fully that they were no longer dismissed as vandals, but recognized as artists. And they remind us of a timeless truth. Inequality, injustice, and the absurdity of our world can try to dim that inner fire, but they can never silence true expression, nor stop that overflowing creativity, that life force, the urge to live and to exist that's inside each of us. So this was the third episode of Wisdom of the World, my new series of videos. Tell me in the comments which topic would you like me to cover in the next video. And of course, don't forget to follow for more.